They agree to do that? The Historical Society?
Right. Good evening. I call this meeting of the City Council to order. Madam Clerk, would you read the roll call, please?
Ms. Gray.
Here.
Mr. Moore.
Present.
Ms. Reclue. Present. Mr. Shiverdecker.
Here.
Mr. Stone.
Present.
Mr. Vaughn.
Here.
Mr. West.
Here.
And Mr. Shiland.
Present.
8 council members present.
Very good, thank you. You'd all rise with me. Pastor Bruce Williamson is with us this evening. He'll lead us in the invocation. Thank you, sir.
Privilege. Heavenly Father, we're going to begin this as we should tonight and keep first things first. As a community and as a nation, we should and must grieve the loss of our law enforcement officers. As sad as it is, we have to stop and do this. This officer's name was Gary Michael. He gave his life in service to his community of Clinton, Missouri, Henry County, yesterday morning. And Lord, that's a heavy load for his family and for the community he served and for all of us who love and respect our police officers. To connect to that, we lost 3 Marines in training off of the coast of Australia on Saturday. We've been hit really hard, especially in the Marine Corps lately, with training and aircraft incidents. We pause now to remember this officer and the Marines that have fallen again. Father, we thank you for hearing our prayer and accepting our humble moment of silence. We pray now for this beautiful weather that you've sent to us after some rather extreme heat in July. It truly is a breath of fresh air. We're getting the rains that we need. The farmers' crops are going to be abundant. And we all do well here in Mid-America when our farmers prosper. I'm grateful, Lord, for the community we live in. I don't want to be repetitive, but the lifestyle that we're able to enjoy living here in this community is both a privilege and a blessing. And I want to thank you for those, Lord, who take care of this city by day and by night, keeping our homes and families safe, protecting our lives and properties, and seeing that the perpetual work of this city goes forward day by day. That would include administrators, our mayor and council persons, all who lead departments within this city, our police officers and firefighters, and every person on the street every day serving this community. I am grateful for them. I lift up before you, but not an exhaustive list, but this list would include Mayor Benton, Mr. and Mrs. Reclue, Mr. Chiland, Mr. Moore, Gabriel Polston, and any and all others. That would include Chief Myers and any and all others who need your daily touch as part of the city family. We pray for this session tonight, those that will lead it, those that will participate, and any decisions that are made, we pray they are pleasing to you. Until we meet again, we thank you, those who faithfully serve in Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. Thank you.
Thank you.
At the beginning of every council meeting, we set aside a time for visitors who are not on the agenda and that have a issue or concern that they would like to address the city council over. There will not be any give or take on that, but again, we would accept your testimony. And so at this time, I invite anyone that has a concern that they would like to share with council to come forward. Seeing no one coming forward, we'll move on to our public hearing. And public hearing is to consider certifying the rate of levy for the property taxes. These will be real taxes, or real property taxes for the 2017 tax year within the city of Fulton. So at this time, the format for the hearing will be as follows. We'll have a call for, 3 calls for anyone wishing to speak in opposition of certifying the rate. And then I'll issue 3 calls for anyone wishing to support the proposed rate. So at this time, is there anyone present who would like to speak in opposition of the proposed rate of levy for the real property taxes for the 2017 tax year? Please come forward. Seeing no one coming forward, I'll issue the second call. Is there anyone present who wishes to speak in opposition to the proposed tax rate for the 2017 tax year?
Can I make a couple comments?
Just a second. Seeing again no one coming forward, Mr. Bill, go ahead.
I just want to report that this is actually a lower levy than last year, but with the reassessment that was recently completed, we don't know exactly what impact it will have. The levy that we established last year was 0.5587. And the levy that we're proposing this evening is 0.5291. So the levy itself is down about 0.03 cents per hundred. Now this is just on the city. So when you get your tax bill, the city taxes are about 8 to 9% of your tax bill. The rest of it goes to the public school system, the county, ambulance district, special services, and library. But the city makes up about 8 to 9% of your total tax bill. And it is a reduction. I just want to...
Thank you. We'll consider that a informational item. A third and final call. Is there anyone present who wishes to speak in opposition of the proposed tax rate? Again, seeing no one coming forward, issue 3 calls for anyone speaking in favor of the proposed tax rate. First call, is there anyone present who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed tax rate? Again, no one coming forward. I'll issue the second call. Is anyone present who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed tax rate? Again, no one coming forward. I'll issue the third and final call. Is there anyone present who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed tax rate? Again, no one coming forward. I will declare this public hearing closed, and we'll now move back to our regular published agenda. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, may I ask you a question?
Sure.
About the tax rate, or should it be, we wait till we get to the ordinance?
Well, why don't we do it at the ordinance?
Okay.
If that's
I'm good with
okay.
that.
Or you can do it when you ask.
No, that'll work.
Okay.
Thank you.
Approval of the consent agenda. Let's see what we have on the consent agenda. We have approval of the high school council request for a homecoming parade on September the 29th. And we also have the approval of the request for Westminster College to close 7th Street between Westminster Avenue and Hickman Avenue on Monday, August 21st. I believe that was alluded to earlier in the work session. Those are the only 2 items on the consent agenda. Is anyone desiring to take an item off the consent agenda?
Motion to approve. Second.
Thank you. I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as is, and I do have a second also. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed, no. Okay, thank you very much. We'll now move on to unfinished business. Looks like we have one item, and that's a hospital update. Again, very similar to the last update. I wish I had quite a bit of good news to report, although again, we continue to work diligently on trying to find someone who would take over the hospital building as it is and continue on with the hospital operation. However, also in our conversations and trying to look at this as realistic as possible, we've also taken another route whereby we are looking for an organization that would come in and provide urgent care for the community in case that we do not find anybody to come take over the hospital. And I've been in discussions more along those lines at this point than I have been with someone finding to take over the hospital operation. I like to say that the folks that own the hospital, New Health, I believe they're called, they're sort of like an automobile dealer, and they're stuck on their sticker price that's on the windshield, and they think that they need, and rightfully so, I have no doubt with their $6 million figure that they can justify that and understand that they probably have an appraisal to justify that. Otherwise, they wouldn't borrow nearly the money that they have evidently borrowed. However, I cannot see this community being able to pay $6 million for that hospital building, and again, that's why I'm going down the alternative route of trying to make sure that we have at least 7-day-a-week urgent care and as many hours as we possibly can under that scenario. So.
And they're not even considering any of the deterioration of the building or the equipment inside the building or anything?
I really can't speak for them. I've again approached them as late as last week again over the requested purchase price, and I think at this point, it's in a negotiation. The clock's ticking. September 22nd is coming. Even if we got really serious on it right away, I can't see us necessarily having something in there by September 22nd. So therefore, I think it behooves us as a community to make sure that we have an alternative in place. And that's why I'm continuing to go down that other route. Hopefully, yes, that we'll have a white knight ride in on his horse with $6 million. Excuse me, their horse.
Yeah.
It may not be a male gender. But anyway, so that's kind of really pretty much the summation of it. Mm-hmm. And we continue to have conversations. Matter of fact, I'll invite you in the morning at 10 o'clock. The commissioners are coming in, and it'll be an executive conference room. Again, for this discussion, continue this discussion with them and trying to find a route to go. They frankly, my impression is, do not necessarily like the scenario of the urgent care. So they think that we need to keep the hospital open, and I agree with them. So we'll continue to see what they have and what ideas they have. Hopefully, but anyway, all I can do is talk for where I am coming from, and that's kind of where it's at. Okay.
Now, are they taxed? Are they, like the county, do they tax them or anything, or is it because it's a health center they're not taxed? And
No.
They put a dollar value on it?
They are a private entity, and they are taxed like any private entity.
Okay.
So yes, I'm sure they pay property taxes, and there can be abatements there.
So is their property taxes showing it's worth $6 million?
I'm not sure. I have not gone to the assessor. I'll check with them. I doubt it. The assessor typically does not utilize. But again, I'm sorry, I'll back up on that. They are required, because that's why he reassessed everybody, to get our property values as close to market value as possible. Since they purchased the hospital just within the last 36 months, it probably is scheduled right around the purchase price, which I think was in the neighborhood of $4 million. And so, and they probably have not picked up the additional $2 million that they put into it since then.
My thought is, though, they're a private for-profit. If they can't make it, why do they expect us to take over and we can make it?
Good question, Ms. Gray. Yes, we've had a lot of discussion. Of course, I know the community continues to have discussion because I have it with every place I go, But, and matter of fact, I'll speak with the optimist in the morning. So maybe they have come up with a good positive answer, right? But anyway, yeah, the one thing that has really hurt the operation of the hospital out here happens to be the thing that the community, from I gather, feels that we need the most, and that's the emergency care.
Well, I agree with the one gentleman that said if we lose it, my property values just drop significantly. And that was one of his reasons I want to keep it here, whatever it takes. So.
I know those arguments are always out there, and we just have to see what it does to property value.
Thank you for your time and effort on this headache.
Thank you. It's been a real education, and I've enjoyed parts of it. I don't enjoy why I'm having to do it, but okay. If there's nothing else, we'll move on to new business, and looks like Mr. Kyle's going to update us on a TEEP. Is that T or T?
TEEP, Traffic
Okay.
Engineering Assessment
Okay.
Program, is what it stands for. Anyways, MoDOT is now accepting applications for folks like ourselves to apply for funds to either study traffic or sidewalks. This is the first year that these funds are available to assess sidewalks. So that's some worthy, a little bit worthy to note. I've got a sense from MoDOT that they're going down the road. They have a sidewalk plan for themselves. When they sweep through town next year and do Business 54, they're addressing sidewalk issues because they're mandated to. And I'm assuming at some point they're going to mandate those kind of actions on us if we apply for, federal or state fundings from them. So, this being the first year that they're allowing sidewalks to be assessed with these funds, maybe that's a clue that they're headed down that road, or maybe I'm just dreaming that up. It's right now that's just an opinion. So we the most that they would give us is $10,000, actually $8,000. We would have to support it with at least $2,000. So we have not. I guess we're here to discover, do we want to even apply for it? Do we want to apply for a sidewalk issue? One thought was we could study a portion of the downtown area which could support a much larger grant, showing planning for a much larger grant down the road to do major work in the downtown area to rehab it and make it look really nice.
How many?
That was one thought.
How many feet do we get for $10,000?
How many feet do we get for $10,000? I do not know the answer to that. I was hoping to have that answered. Huh?
You hoping I wouldn't ask?
No, I actually asked that question. I asked that question of an engineering firm, and they were going to try to get me something by this meeting, but they didn't get it. So I guess they're off the list.
Well, I mean, that would be one of the first things I would want to look at.
Yeah. I mean, it would not, obviously $10,000, that would not pay for an engineering company for what they make, come in here and assess it all. No. They would basically set something up for us to finish the work, type of thing.
Exactly.
But you know, Bill and I have talked about it a little bit. There's a couple different ways we could go. You know, it could be a traffic study of a location in town. So
Are you talking mainly Court Street, or what are you talking?
as far as downtown goes,
Yeah.
I'm talking about the downtown area.
Are the
whole
walks that
downtown
bad?
area,
The only
brick-
thing I
brick
know
area.
is Mrs. Reclus has mentioned for the handicap.
Mm-hmm.
Is everything that bad, and is this small amount going to do us any good?
This small amount would give us the beginnings of a study. So is it actually producing anything out in the field that's where you're walking, out on the sidewalks that you're walking? No, it would tell you where to focus your efforts on. It would give you it'd be a planning tool, is all this would be.
Now, I keep hearing on the news, MoDOT is broke. They're talking about raising our gas taxes.
Of course.
How can they give us any money if they're already broke?
Well, if they tell you they had money, we wouldn't give them any more.
I guess I can't answer that.
Kyle, if we take this, try for this grant, and we have enough to study an area downtown, don't you think it'd be beneficial to start somewhere, or
Yeah, I
what do you
mean,
guys think? What do you think? I mean,
you got to start somewhere. Now,
give you a mark, yeah.
I will say, you know, these funds are usually available on you know, recurring basis.
Okay.
So next year they'll probably be available. We may be in better position to apply for them
That's
next
what I
year.
was- Right.
You know, right now we do have a bunch of money soaked up into some projects in 18. So probably realistically, it's going to be the beginnings of some work that, you know, beginnings of a study that sits on a shelf for at least a year and a half,
Couple
at
years.
least,
Exactly.
you know. So,
By then, we
Well, give
might
us a-
have to repeat the study in order to get.
Well, give us a
I
benchmark.
mean, I doubt,
You see where my
yeah.
questioning is going, is,
yeah,
you know, it's always great to take somebody else's free money, but if we're not gonna be able to do anything with it, and we're gonna have to repeat effort at some point in the future to do it,
I mean, Jeff,
I mean.
I'm not sold it's worth the effort right now myself.
And that's what I'm asking.
I did ask another engineering firm today. I talked it over with them, and they believe, though the metropolitan areas have to have these plans to get more funding. He does not believe that's going to trickle down anytime in the near future upon small towns like us. So that's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is we've spoke, you know, ADA required back in the 1990s for cities to begin to have these sidewalk plans. So that's kind of another way to look at it. But I'm kind of 50-50 on it, guys.
Kyle? We had a study a few years ago of the condition of the sidewalks throughout the city. I thought we were kind of using that plan, or that study, to decide what to work on. They were kind of rated, as I
Yeah,
remember.
I looked at that plan and I had limited confidence in that plan.
It's probably 10 years old.
We've since, over this past year, a gentleman in my office, Josh, has walked all the sidewalks in town and has rated them.
Okay.
So we do have something
Okay.
to go off of, so.
But there's been at least a couple of us talk about the sidewalks downtown, but, you know, just,
Now, when you do look at sidewalks, to speak to Beverly's point, when you do look at sidewalks in town, we've got a ton of sidewalks that are bad. Trying to pick an area is difficult because
yeah.
there's a lot of
Right.
areas that need help,
They are, they
Yeah.
really do.
you know.
Exactly.
It's
Side streets, yeah.
so.
Kyle, I have a question. When the state comes in to do 54 from one end to the other, we've apparently agreed to do the center part of town, which
Yes.
is to us.
Which is, to
I
us,
mean,
it's
our
from,
portion of it, but.
our portion's from the roundabout to Ovid Bell
Right,
Press.
but didn't, in that part, was it supposed to redo the sidewalks?
MoDOT is
Curb and
redoing,
gutters at that time?
MoDOT is redoing their sidewalks. We do not have enough money to do sidewalks and curb and gutter. We chose to start with the curb and gutter and the sidewalk ramps only. So the straight sections of sidewalk in our area, so from the roundabout to Abbeville Press, those straight sections of sidewalk will not be addressed.
But we will be doing the intersections.
The intersections where the ramps, handicap ramps are, will be addressed.
Yeah,
The
that's
straight
what I was
sections.
thinking you said before.
Yeah, the straight sections between ramps, we will not do at this
So
point.
we will do the ADA part of it.
Right.
Thank you.
And if we were to get this grant, the work that would come out of that wouldn't really help us as part of that.
No, it really
That
wouldn't help us
engineering.
it really wouldn't help us with that effort, no.
Okay.
It would truly probably only be utilized in another grant application of a larger scale, of a significant dollar that would help us do a major project,
Okay.
a piece of the puzzle.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kyle.
Very good, thank you. Yeah,
As I wrote to you all in an email a couple weeks ago, my assistant Rob Barnes has resigned. His last day with the city is going to be August 24th. I've asked him to come up. I want to come up and say a few words, and we can all clap and say nice things about him.
Good.
We could.
Raspberry.
We could.
Yeah. Some folks on the council have already kind of shared the love. I do appreciate that. Yeah, I had a meeting with Bill, that's been, I guess, 2 weeks ago on a Monday, letting him know that I had accepted a position to go back to telecommunications, which many of you know is where I came from for a good number of years. Was not something that I was actively looking at for. I was fat, dumb, and happy sitting in the office next to the mayor and not too far down the hall from Mr. Johnson on a daily basis. It truly has been an honor and a privilege for the last year and a half, I like to say a little over a year and a half, but it's basically been a year and a half to serve the citizens of the community and the folks that are in front of me right now. There's a great group of people that have been with the city for a good number of years. They're dedicated. Their longevity proves that. This has been a fun place to work. It's been a fun experience. And going in a different direction was not an easy decision to make. And I told Bill that. This has been one of the toughest things that I've ever done. But I guess, when dare I say, when you're a telephone man, I guess you're always a telephone man in some regard. The telephone's changed a bunch, but I look forward to the new chapter that's in front of me. But this has been a great experience. There's no feud between Bill and I. We've gotten along wonderfully, as well as the remaining of all the folks that work here for the city. It's been a privilege, and I can't say that enough. So, thank you.
Thank you.
It took me about 3 minutes to get him to commit to getting the first draft of the budget out before he is gone. He has confirmed that we will have first read of the budget at the next city council meeting, which really is not that far ahead of schedule. It's pushed 2 weeks. It's pushed him ahead by 2, so we're really not pushing it that hard. It's for August.
Yeah.
So we'll have first read of the budget at next council meeting, or presented to the council at least next council meeting.
This is personal. We annexed a piece of property in the city limits for him. Can we veto that now since he's leaving?
Mrs. Gray, let me answer it to you this way. We annexed a piece of pasture that had an assessed value of probably $200 into the city limits. The next time that property gets assessed,
We're going to up it.
it's going to be assessed a little more than $200. So,
Pay
yes,
back.
yes, we could let him out of town, but no, we won't.
No, we won't.
No, we won't.
We could cut utilities though. Yeah. Did you ever get it wired? Okay.
You can slip your resolution in the budget.
Since I kind of jumped off agenda a little bit here, but
Yeah,
Daryl, would you like to talk about the smoke study, I could think tomorrow? As beginning, particularly since the newspaper here, maybe they could warn
Yeah.
everybody. We're gonna have a smoke
Screw
screen.
with all the downtown next door.
You can quote him on technical term.
We've done some smoke testing in the city before, but in the next couple of days, we're going to smoke downtown, basically the brick district and the outskirts.
Explain to
So-
council what smoke testing is.
So what we've done,
Smoke a brick.
They put smoke in the
we've
ground.
contracted with Barnes McDonald to have their field crew come in and work with our field crew. They're bringing an extra smoke blower in, and it's to find the leaks in the sewer system that may be tied to gutters, may be tied to storm drains. So, the next 2 days we'll be doing some smoking. Actually, we did a lot of smoking.
Smoking.
We're gonna do a little bit on Oak Street, Center Street, because those are areas we've had problems with before. And with 2 blowers here, we wanna really try to saturate that area. And then we'll move to the downtown area. And we'll have a couple of bucket trucks downtown so we can get up above so we can see the smoke better. And if weather's permitting, Barnes McDonald will bring a drone in to film it from the air. So we can, our goal is to smoke downtown one time, do it correctly, and find our defects in the sewer system.
Talk about the notification you've done.
We did go to hang door hangers and gave letters to the business owners and a lot of the neighbors that we could get a hold of. And as we start downtown Thursday morning, we'll also walk ahead and remind
So
them.
what is your smoking doing? Is it showing us leaks in something, or what's it doing?
Yes, it's showing the breaks in the pipe or the illegal hookups or, you know, things
All
that shouldn't
pipes, or
be
just
hooked up.
water or gas or what?
Sewer,
Sewer
the
pipes.
wastewater system.
Okay, thanks.
Wastewater.
What
The
color
wastewater.
is
No.
your smoke? It's different than the black smoke.
No, it's more or less
of a
gray, but
building
it's a
burning.
non-toxic EPA-approved smoke. And the fire department has been notified that we will be smoking.
Why don't you wait till the
So,
eclipse?
so for Jenny's benefit, what you do is you pump a lot of smoke into the sanitary sewer.
Yeah, we'll open up the
And-
manholes and there'll be a blower and either liquid smoke, we have liquid smoke, or we have smoke bombs. And
And then
She wants
when
to
they,
help. Sounds like fun.
when they pump the smoke into the sanitary sewer, they look for the smoke to come out of places
Yeah.
to the atmosphere. And if it's coming out to the atmosphere, that probably means that rainwater is getting into the sanitary sewer. And we want to eliminate the rainwater from the sanitary sewer.
Is there a place where this is happening?
downtown,
Yeah, right down to,
Where are there be trucks?
there'll be trucks. We'll actually call you and let you know where they'll be
there
at
you
so you
go.
can
yeah,
come and witness it. We'll do a little bit tomorrow and then the main push is
Bring your
Thursday.
camera.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Bring your camera.
Yeah, so if you would want to join them tomorrow, you'd be able to get some great pictures to put in the Thursday paper to kind of warn downtown that it's going to
Cool
happen.
idea.
I think we will find several places
I'm sure.
where rainwater is getting into the sanitary sewer. And then at a later date, we'll address how to correct that.
When we get set up tomorrow morning, our first spot, we'll call you at your location. Does that work? Okay. Hopefully this will be before 10 o'clock. We're supposed to start at 7.
He wants to help.
Daryl, you've already been doing this through quite a few of the older areas of town, like up in the
We've
north-
been doing a lot of
northeast.
cammering. One spot that we're doing tomorrow is we smoked and we found some things and we fixed them, then we smoked it again, and then new things showed up that didn't show up the first time. And through our metering program, remember a year or so ago, we did the meter study.
Right.
This
Right.
was an area that showed really bad, so we're really wanting them to come in with us and add that second smoker, so there'll be a smoker in one manhole, and then upstream there'll be another smoker, and both of them have smoke, and they'll really try to saturate that section of line to see if we can find the rest. So that's our goal.
If anybody has any questions, they can call City Hall and City Hall the staff at City Hall will have some answers for them, but if they want additional information, they'll get the name and number and we'll give them a call back.
And what our flyer said in our letters is basically, make sure all your drains in your basement and stuff have water in so the traps aren't dry to keep the smoke from coming back into your house and things of that nature.
You got one of those waiter seats that Jenny can go down that manhole and take some.
I don't think she'll see much if she goes down in there. It'll be pretty smoky.
Get you something to put on for safety.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Darrell.
Thank you.
It's
Appreciate it.
non-toxic, it's okay.
Yeah, it is not toxic.
Next item on our agenda is the domestic officer grant discussion. Chief Meyer, would you like to lead us in that discussion, please? Domestic officer.
This could be interesting.
Yeah. He's trying to figure this one out.
Yes, this grant is a grant we've had for, I'm thinking probably close to 6 years. We, along with the county and the city of Holt Summit, apply and have been getting this grant for a domestic violence officer that assists us and Holt Summit and the county. I was, when I talked to the presiding commissioner, he told me that may be up just a little bit, just because of salary increase, but our portion would be pretty close to what it is now. Also, the county, because of the tremendous increase that we're seeing in domestic violences, not only in the city of Fulton, but in the county, they're going to apply for a second grant just to cover another officer that we're not going to be involved in that grant, but they're going to fund that fully through the county. So we kind of have access to two, actually, but we're only be paying a portion of one. So it's the same thing we've been doing. And I think that grant's due the end of the year, so they're starting to work on it.
Chief, where's this guy work out of? Where's his office? Is it in your building?
What?
Where's his office? Where's he work out of? You mentioned 3 different locations. Is he?
The sheriff's department provides that officer with all of their equipment, training, and a vehicle, and we just pay a very small portion, actually, of the cost of that one officer.
So he's basically a county
But we're
employee.
available
Right, he's available to us.
Basically a county employee that we have available
Yes.
for our use.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
And with the number of, the increase in child abuse and sexual abuse that my officers work, it really helps to have this officer work the domestic violence cases because we just don't have time.
So this grant's coming up, and an application will be submitted. Which
Yeah,
will be bringing here to
be
the
toward the
city.
end of the year. I'll have more information
Okay.
for you.
Very good. Very good.
Good.
Probably expect a little bit. How much are we putting in now? Do you remember?
Guy was driving straight down the road.
No, I don't for sure.
Just gone.
Rob, you know?
Right offhand.
How much?
A week or two.
Kathy said $4,000.
That's sort of what I had in my
That's
mind.
good. Yeah, that's just a minute, yeah.
That's
So, yeah, even
Sure
if it goes
work
up
out.
a little bit, it's still, it's a good deal for us, and it's nice that we can work with
It's a tremendous
Clay
deal for
and Sharon.
us, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, very good. Thank you,
Okay.
Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just we kind of wanted to give you a heads up that this is coming down the pike, and again, so you can kind of be thinking about it and it doesn't catch you off guard.
Okay, thank you.
Well, now I'll move to item 10, which is council concerns. It's a time when you can bring things forward that any councilman may have that's not on the agenda. So let me start down with Mr. Shiloh.
I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Mr. West.
Good, no items.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Clute.
I have a couple. First of all, Les, the It is called the Car Loan Business across the street from Bartley School. Is there someone taking care of the grass? It's a closed business. It's a site. It's right across from Bartley.
Okay.
It used to be a car loan company.
Oh,
Where you
okay.
go, title thing, yeah.
Okay.
It's a real mess. I don't know if it's
We
something
probably already have letters out on
we
it. If
can
not, we'll
enforce.
get out
Okay.
one tomorrow, but I'd say we probably already have something
Okay.
in the works
It's-
there.
It's a site.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, okay, thank you. And my other concern, in the news, I've heard a lot about our police vehicles, our Ford police vehicles. Chief, I wondered if,
Chief, the
question,
Explorers
please? Yeah, I'm kind of concerned
and carbon monoxide.
about. Yes, exactly.
He said he didn't have
You brought them with the Crown Vics.
That's what we're, no, this is with the Ford. vehicle.
Ford
Have we had any problems, or hard been looked at for this
No,
problem?
we have, in fact, Jenny brought that to my attention
Oh,
as well.
good.
We have been monitoring those, and none of my officers have noticed any monoxide or
Yeah.
anything else that, and hopefully we'll be getting a new one shortly.
Yeah, I know.
But
All right.
we haven't noticed anything.
Okay, well, I'm sure you were aware of it, but I just wondered if we
Oh,
had,
sure.
make sure our guys are okay. Okay,
Mhm.
okay, yeah, okay, thank you. That's all I have, thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Stay there.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Stone?
Chief,
Chief?
Oh, come back.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He wants to stay there, Chief, he's keeping you.
You're popular tonight.
I said stay there.
Oh, okay.
He's here.
I have two items, and I apologize, Chief, I didn't reach out to you before tonight, but it's just a refresh my memory of where we're at with the Bartley School and the parking and the drop-off and the pickup. We had brought that up in the spring.
Yes, we brought that to the, probably Kyle could answer that better than I did, but it's a state road and there's not a whole lot we can do.
Excuse me.
Kyle can answer that better than me.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Traffic Commission discussed this topic, and you know, I think the chief has tried to work with the school on potentially making the exit a right
Yeah.
turn only, and we've discussed potentially, you know, seeing what the school can do. Brian Abbott with the school was there, so seeing what the school can do to maybe open a little early, whatnot. You know, kind of a side item with that topic is bus traffic and the side road that they enter St. Francis. Sorry, I drew a blank there. And our traffic guy and Brian, we're going to talk to the homeowners on that to discuss potential making that a no parking on one side to help bus traffic. So there's been a lot of talk about it. To say that we've solved anything or done anything that's going to make this year any better yet would be false.
Okay.
Can you come up with a plan in 30 days?
School starts
We can come
next
up.
week.
We can come up with a recommendation.
Would it do any good to change the times that the school convenes, let kindergarten starts at this time, and don't let everybody go in at the same time or exit at the same time?
No, it's just.
Is
it's
that
just
anything?
The people are parking along 54, they're parking.
I just thought maybe it wouldn't be so congested all at once if we had
There
different.
was just 3 or 4 concerns that got brought to me last spring, hoping that we could have some sort of improvement
Right.
this
And,
fall.
you know, we've talked about, again, maybe provide an early time to where kids can come in earlier, and that might help in the morning, but in the afternoons,
Yeah.
it doesn't help much. So, we haven't come up with a really good idea. I mean, we can come up with some sort of recommendation, but it's probably not going to be a magic bullet that
Of
fixes
course
it.
not.
The right turn coming out of there, you know, like you said, the exit, is that not something we can do, or that's still involved
Dr.
with
Calvert
them?
has,
Is that his?
he and I talked about the right turn coming out of there,
Yes,
and he's pretty receptive to doing that,
hopefully that would help.
and that would help somewhat.
Okay,
Would that require state approval?
You know,
yeah, that was the thing I wanted.
I'm sorry.
Does it require what?
Would that require state approval?
no, not
Coming
that,
out-
because that's on school.
Coming out of their property, okay.
That would be maybe.
Now, whether that would be enforceable, I don't know that would be the case, but at least if we had a right turn lane there, or turn arrow there, that would probably, most people would do that, and then go up and come down Westminster.
Yeah.
And I think that would eliminate a lot of our issue there, at least some of it.
Exactly.
I think some of the issue is parking on 54, and I don't know that we have a good answer for that. The state has not, they actually maintain the side there, and so I don't know that we can stop that without their approval.
What's a dangerous location? Somebody's gonna get hurt.
Yeah, some child.
With the cars parked out there both morning and after school.
Child.
Kyle? Yes, sir. Chief, could you just drop a letter off to MoDOT and ask them if, I know they always tell us they ain't got no money, but if we put no parking signs up, would they have a problem for that?
At least have a right to, do that.
Yeah, we can definitely approach MoDOT on that.
You can ask.
Yeah.
That's right.
But if they say yes, then it comes still back to the council to be bold enough to say yes to it, right?
Yeah, and guys, there's not a lot of area there, to work with. So that's something that there's going to have to be significant buy-in from the school to produce an answer.
Right.
I mean, we can't produce the answer here inside this for the people here.
You're right.
We've got to get them from them to.
You're right.
Well,
do something.
you do one thing, and the consequences may be worse than what the problem is we have now, like putting up a no parking signs. Now what? What do those people do? They're doing what they're doing for a reason.
Scary.
And I understand it is at times, for, like 5-10 minutes, it is dangerous there. On the other hand, if we stop that, is it gonna cause another problem somewhere else?
That's
Right.
exactly what it is.
And that's what you said.
Yeah,
Exactly.
stop
And I agree, that could be a possibility.
I think both parties see it as a problem, as Bill stated. The
Sure.
city sees it as a problem, and I have no doubt that I know that Brian Abbott and the rest of the school sees it as an issue too. So.
And
General
by
public probably does. too.
having an officer there in the afternoon or something, our officers are stretched anyhow, so, is there a solution? Is there some form of?
I'm glad there was conversation, and I'm glad it's continuing with the school district to try and come up with a solution.
Chief, would a stoplight
I
work there?
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Chief, would a
Did you have another issue?
would a stoplight work there?
Stoplight? I think, I don't know if that would really correct the problem because they're parking on the side of the road. But if we put, probably up at Collier, there needs to be a stoplight or something up there. But
Yeah.
I know where you can get one.
I don't know that a stoplight would really eliminate the problem.
Been wanting
The
to steal that
problem,
one
if
forever.
more people coming from the south going north took Westminster, that would probably help that problem, but they're not gonna do that either.
Of course not.
Thank you, Joanne.
Okay?
Thank you.
The other, I've had a couple of different complaints about nuisance yards, trash, overgrowth, that sort of thing. What department does that go to?
Mr. Les.
Okay, thank you. I'll bring those to your attention.
Ms. Gray?
I just have one question. At Business 54 South, and I think it's Glenstone, there's a little tiny house being built. What's the deal with that?
It's a small house being constructed.
But I mean, is it going to stay there? Does it have approval?
Yes, it's gonna.
Does it meet all of our requirements?
Yes. Well, so far it does. We haven't done a final inspection on it, but.
That's a good answer.
But is it going to be I mean, it's tiny. How many people can live in that thing?
All in
The
one.
way the world is.
Depends how big the people
It's the
are.
new fad.
It's considered a tiny house. It's 192 square feet.
Nice.
That meets the International Building Code for a house. You could have up to 4 people in there if you want to, that's unrelated, or you could have a family of 6 if they'll fit in there. But it does meet the code.
How many square feet?
It's 192
192.
square feet.
190.
Wow.
Bibb, I think he's single.
And actually, the code is
Well,
less
it's
than
just
that.
where it's.
Is it really?
Well, it is on an odd shape.
Well, that's the coming thing right now.
In the 50s and
Yes.
60s, that's the size a lot of houses were. They were small.
It's true. It's true. They were a little bigger than that, but not much.
Living room,
They were
bedroom, and
bigger than
kitchen,
that.
you know?
Been a couple houses that
Shotgun
were
houses
probably
wasn't
less than
big.
600 square feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been on the internet and on TV. That's the coming thing.
Oh, it is.
Well, it might be the coming thing, but I think it looks tacky. You've got a decent neighborhood there, and you're sticking that little bitty thing in there. And then over on Bluff, it might be around maybe 7th or 8th. There's a house that the roof is actually caving in on. Are you all dealing with that? Okay. You're going to tear it down, or what are you going to do? If you wait much longer, it'll fall on its own. Okay.
Don't quote that.
I'm done. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Mr. Vaughn.
Yeah, actually, the little house was on my agenda also. 2 or 3 meetings ago, I did bring up about the little house, and we were going to look into or have a discussion on what we can, if we need to make some ordinances or
Prevent that.
set an area up for little houses, or just let them start being built wherever they seem to want to. Tanglewood, wherever.
Yeah.
Les and I have talked about this, and he's done some research. I think one thing that we talked about that could be a possible solution would be just to put a minimum house size. I think we talked like 600 feet. You have to have at least 600 feet in order to get a residential building permit in town.
There you go.
Now, we have lots of houses in town at 900, 800. So if we dropped it to 6, that could be our definition of tiny house.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against the
It's no
guy
different than a
putting
trailer
up
park.
tiny houses, but I think there ought to be areas that we allow that in or not allow it in. And I know that other cities are doing that, setting up subdivisions or
Right.
plots of land that they can do that.
That's what I could say. Why can't we do
So
it?
I just wanted the discussion to go on because we haven't discussed it at all.
Do an area like we do trailer parks or something, and let that be their space.
Also, I have another question, and we've talked about it several times, but the house on Locust, is there a scheduled date? The people over there keep calling me and calling me and calling me about, and I know that house was
I got
approved.
one bid this afternoon, I'm tearing it down, I'm waiting on the second bid. As soon as we get that second bid, we'll get somebody to take it down.
I knew,
There we go.
I mean, I knew it had got approved, but I
Yeah.
just,
I had to get-
they were
I had to
wanting
get
to
couple
know if we had a
quotes. I got the first
schedule
one this
yet.
afternoon, the next one, probably tomorrow or the next day, and we ought to, if we can get roll-offs and that sort of thing, maybe next week we'll get it out of
What if you don't get a second bid? Do you have a
there. That's up to
deadline?
Mr. Johnson.
The house was burned down on the
Okay,
Jefferson
sure.
that night.
I know that answer.
Sure, there you go. It comes down.
No, it's going to depend on what the bid is.
Well, yeah.
I don't know how long it takes for us to get them into it.
Also, I have one other question for the chief, and he can answer from there.
Oh, he's coming up.
I won't make you come up here,
He's
but
coming.
are we,
It's not.
as far as the amount of officers you got, are we up to schedule on that, or do you still need to hire some people?
Accounts.
I'm down one right now.
Down one?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have one of my lieutenants is retiring next week. And so actually, right now, I'm up full staff, but next week, when he retires, I'll be.
I just met a new guy day before yesterday that just was hired, but I didn't know if you were still needing somebody or not.
There's 4 new guys.
4?
Oh, wow.
Okay.
They
That's all.
just revolve.
All right, thank you.
Okay, good.
Okay, very good.
That's all.
Thank you, Mr.
Start
Vaughn.
sitting up front.
Mr. Moore?
I only have 3 things to say. Could you believe that? First one, I want to thank the street department. If you're looking at Rick and my ward on that part of 7th Street, them sidewalks and Fletcher Road is looking really nice. I haven't finished yet. And number 2, I went out to the golf course, and if you haven't been out in a while, the greens and everything, it looks like it could be a picture-perfect picture taken in the golf magazine, by the way.
Awesome.
And my third one, I already talked to Mr. Johnson, so I'm just gonna leave that one alone.
Oh, I'll just make a note then.
Very good, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rick. We appreciate it. Very good. If, we'll move on now to resolutions. Resolution 3288 is our first one, and it has to do with accepting agreeing to accepting pilot payments from the county commission. And Councilman West, I'll ask you to present this, and then Mr. Johnson can tell us about it.
All right, resolution number 3288, a resolution authorizing the mayor on behalf of the city of Fulton, Missouri to enter into an agreement with and sign all necessary documents in relation to said agreement with the County Commission of Callaway County, Missouri to accept the distribution of pilot tax payments as full and final and establish an effective date. I move that resolution number 3288 be considered at tonight's council meeting.
Second.
Well, some of you may know I'm friends with the executive director of the Housing Authority.
That's a good word for it.
She brought to my attention that she had recently made her pilot payment to the county for the property taxes. And since that's basically a nonprofit federal organization, they don't really pay property taxes. They pay a pilot fee, which is a payment in lieu of taxes, which their accountant determines each year based on a depreciation schedule. Okay? And she said, asked about us getting it. I said, oh, we don't get anything from the Housing Authority. Well, she proceeded to dig into her paperwork and came up with a document that said, going back many years, that this is the distribution. They're paying it in for normal distribute to the county for normal taxes, distribution as any other taxes. I got a hold of Gary. Gary acknowledged, yep, we probably ought to be doing that. The executive director of the Housing Authority produced a document showing how much property taxes they paid each year of the past 10 years. Gary took all that into consideration. So what they're doing is they're taking this year's payment, giving us our due for what we missed out on for the past 10 years, and then divvying the remainder up across all taxing entities, us included. And the reason for this, I didn't realize we were going to need this document, but one of the taxing entities wanted this document produced to ensure that the city was not ever going to say we didn't get what we were owed. Okay? So that's why we're having the resolution. So the city council says, yep, we agree, this is it. We're never going to ask for any more money based on past taxes from the Housing Authority prior to August 8th of 2017.
So how many years have we been doing this?
We're going back 10 years on this.
No, how many years have they been paying the pilot is my question.
More than 10 years.
Yeah, a lot more than 10.
What kind of dollar value?
Well, we're
Well,
talking
can we just forget the past
$14,000.
years and start from now?
Huh?
Can we just forget the past years and start from now?
Heck no.
We could, but we're not going to do that.
Okay. I don't want anything taken from our schools or anything. That's what my concern is.
Well, the school is the predominant benefactor of property taxes. So they are taking somewhat, but the total bill to get us caught up is $14,000.
So are they going to give this to the entities or to the city in one lump sum? Is all this coming from the Housing Authority? Or?
Yes. The Housing Authority makes an annual payment.
And they're going to play catch up for the last 10 years. They're going to give us one lump sum.
No.
The county's going to give us one lump sum.
County.
Oh, okay.
Housing Authority's been paying it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We just weren't getting it.
Okay.
Another question, Bill. Is there anybody else out there doing the same thing? Any other entities out there that are paying pilots instead of property taxes?
Not to my knowledge, but that's a reasonable question. We will maybe try and look into that.
And I do appreciate the county trying to make this right.
Oh,
Get-
Gary's been super to work
Good.
through
You know,
on this.
um,
Has never blinked or never bothered him a bit. He wants to make it right.
Yeah. And we'll be good going forward here.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
It just got missed 1 year, and they did it the same way the next year, and they did it the same way the next year.
Very good. I have a motion and a second to adopt Resolution 3288. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed, no. Very good, thank you. Resolution 3288 is adopted. We'll now move on to ordinances, and we'll consider first reading ordinances. Bill number 1478 is one that approves a contract between the assessor and the commissioners and also the city for collection or to do our assessment work. Councilwoman McClue, would you please present Bill number 1478 by title only?
Yes. Bill number 1478, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and the city clerk on behalf of the city of Fulton, Missouri, to execute a contract with the assessor and county commission of Callaway County, Missouri, relating to the preparation of assessment lists and establishing the effective date. I make a motion to place bill number 1478 for second reading at our next regular scheduled meeting.
Second.
Very good, thank you. I have a motion. I think I heard a second.
Yeah, Wayne.
Okay, very good. Councilman
Thank you.
Shilen, thank you. Any further discussion of this motion? Okay. Very good. All those in favor of adopting bill number 1478 first reading, please, for advancement to second reading, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed, no. Okay, very good, thank you. We'll advance that one. Bill number 1479 is an ordinance that, again, for first reading, that establishes our new rate, property tax rate, of which we had a hearing earlier in the and Councilman Vaughn, would you please present for first reading, title only, 1479?
Bill number 1479, an ordinance fixing the tax rate and leveling taxes for the calendar year 2017 on all taxable property in the city of Fulton, Missouri, and establish an effective date. I move to place Bill 1479 for second reading at the next scheduled meeting.
Second.
Very good, thank you. Have a motion and a second to advance bill number 1479. Is there any discussion of the motion?
Question.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Last year, the county over-collected on taxes, and didn't we set some money aside, or has that all been taken care of?
We asked them to hold on to it, and it will come to us this year. Is that correct, Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, but we overassessed the citizens last year. Can we underassess them this year to make up for that?
The rate was, the overassessment was reflected in the rate, right?
Yes, the rate was set too high by the county auditor based on the figures that were provided by the county clerk. So our rate was set at .5587. It should have been .5351.
Okay.
So we collected, the county collector sends us tax money every month.
Right.
We only accepted 95.79% of what was billed. They're holding that other 4-point-something% in escrow. And in October this year, I talked to her and have her send us the money.
Okay. But my question is a citizen paid $100, say, last year, and they should have only paid 95. So this year, they paying 95 instead of 100?
This year, they're paying less than what it should have been last year. It was assessed at 5587 last year, should have been .5351. And I believe the rate this year is .5291.
Yes.
Yeah. So they will, yeah, it will come
So
back.
we went down more than it should have. I mean, this year it ought to have been higher, and it's lower because of what happened last year. Is that correct?
It's
Correct.
in part, but a lot of it also is complicated by the reassessment.
Right.
Because we
Yeah.
can't, the
true,
law will not allow us to receive a windfall. So
Correct.
our assessment is higher, so our rate's naturally going to be lower.
It's going to be lower.
But part of the reduction is because it was set too high last year.
Right, but I mean,
The
the bottom
overpayment.
line, the individual person that paid that last year paid more than they should have.
Yeah.
Should be paying less than they
And
should
they're-
this
and they're
year to
paid
make
less.
up for
Yeah, so
that.
those 2 years will average out.
Okay,
Well.
that's my question. Thank you.
It'll be a wash over the 2 years.
Okay.
Very good.
Good job.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, any other discussion of that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of advancing bill number 1479 to second reading, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed, no. Okay, thank you. Bill number 1479 advances. We'll now go on to second reading ordinances. Bill number 1476 was tabled last meeting, and it will remain tabled indefinitely unless you want to remove it. Councilman Shiverdecker?
No, sir. And it just won't show up on the agenda
Okay,
again.
very good.
Just
We'll
fall
drop
off.
it off the agenda. 1476 is a dead issue. Okay, thank you.
Don't make it that final.
We'll now move on to bill number 1477 for second reading. That's an ordinance that's repealing our old building codes and adopting the new building codes. Councilman Moore, would you please read bill number 1477 by title only?
Is there any objections if we go for the third reading tonight?
No, not here.
Okay.
I move to do that.
Bill number 1477, an ordinance repealing Chapter 18, Buildings and Building Regulations, Fulton City Code, in its entirety, enacting a new Chapter 18, Building and Building Regulations, and establishing an effective date. I move this to be moved for the third and final reading at tonight's meeting by title only.
Second.
Very good. Thank you. I have a motion and a second to advance bill number 1477 to third reading. Is there any discussion of that motion? Excuse me. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed, no. Okay, very good. Councilman Moore, would you please present 1477 for third reading?
Bill number 1477, an ordinance repealing Chapter 18, Buildings and Building Regulations, Fulton City Code, in its entirety, enacting a new Chapter 18, Buildings and Building Regulations, and establishing an effective date. Move this for final passage at tonight's meeting by title only.
Second.
Very good. I have a motion and a second to advance bill number 1477 for final consideration. Any further discussion of the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed, no. Very good. Bill number 1477 is advanced. You've heard bill number 1477 presented 3 times, and it's now time for final consideration. Please signify yes or no as the clerk reads the roll.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Reclus?
Yes.
Mr. Shiverdecker?
Yes.
Mr. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn?
Yes.
Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Shyland?
Yes.
And Ms. Gray?
Yep.
8 council members affirmative.
Very good, thank you. We've had bill number 1477 is adopted. Very good. Now move on to announcements. Madam Clerk, you want to run those?
Sure. As we discussed in the work session, Fulton City Hall will close on Monday, August 21st from 12 to 2 p.m. to observe the 2017 solar eclipse. Our next meeting of the City Council will be Tuesday, August 22nd at 6:30 p.m. The annual MML conference will be held September 10th through 13th at Tantera, and those reservations have been finalized. So if you have any questions, come see me. City Council will hold a retreat during the MML conference on Monday, September 11th, 2017, to review some proposed changes to the city charter. We don't have an exact time on that yet, but we will post that since we will have a quorum to look over those changes. The annual Town and Country Dinner will be held on Thursday, September 28th, 2017 at 5:00 p.m. at Show Stock Outfitters in Kingdom City. So if any council members would like to attend, please let me know by our next meeting. And then I wanted to also announce that we are going to have the annual Hunter Safety Course for bow hunting within the city limits. That's been scheduled as of this afternoon with the Department of Conservation. That class will be held on Thursday, August 31st at 6 o'clock p.m. here in the chambers.
Okay, very good, thank you. I do not have a need for an executive session this evening. And of course, we do not have any appointments. So therefore, we'll consider
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Very good. We have a motion and second for adjournment. All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We are adjourned.